Hello and welcome to my channel, Distinctive Crochet. My name is Priscilla and I would like to thank all my new subscribers for coming and checking me out and all my returning subscribers for spending some time with me. Alright everyone, before we get started, I did want to say that thank you again to Vicky from Gotcha Hook. She sent me another package of scrap yarn, so I'm excited to see what is in here and see if I am going to add it into this project or another project. So let me go ahead and open this up. And it is full. Oh wow! Yay! So it is some more of the Touch of Class Alpaca Andes by Yarn Bee. So that is some more of that. It's gorgeous. And I have some, this is called Dream Spun Yarn Bee. And I believe this is called Wonder Wild is the colorway, I think. Yes, it's 80% acrylic, 20% superwash wool. It's a number 5 bulky. So that is gorgeous. And I got 2 of those. Or is it 3? Let me see. There's one more in here. Ooh, this is 3. This, ooh, I'm thinking a gorgeous cowl for this right here. Ooh, that would be gorgeous. Yes, I'm thinking a cowl for this, guys. So I'm probably not going to include this into my sweater, but I am definitely going to have a cowl. So that that is another item. Oh wow, this is so gorgeous. Thank you so much, Vicky. I am super excited. Oh my goodness. And she sent me a card too. Let me see. Aww. Thank you so much, Vicky. I am definitely going to enjoy this for sure. Wow. That is some gorgeous yarn. Thank you. Ah. Alright everyone, so now I'm going to go ahead and take you back into the video. Alright everyone, it is Monday, so it is time to Work Your Whips Monday. Now on this special edition of Work Your Whips Monday, last week I had asked if you all wanted me to go ahead and share my process with you on how to do a top-down sweater using my scrap yarn, and a lot of you said that you would like to see that, so that is what I'm here today to do. So before we get started, in case you wanted to start working on this with me, a few things you will need, of course, is your yarn. A measuring tape is good to have on hand. The crochet hook that you want to go with the yarn that you're using. You will need at least 4 stitch markers and a pair of scissors. You won't necessarily need a yarn needle at this point unless you like to weave in your ends as you go, but that's always good to have on hand as well. So this is not going to be a tutorial. I am just sharing with you my process, so I'm not giving it like exact numbers or things like that. I can tell you how many stitches I have for what I'm doing, but I'm not giving like exact numbers to like as a pattern or tutorial. So I'm just sharing with you my process and what I'm doing, and giving you like maybe talking through some of the options and things that you could do for this sweater that you all will be making if you decide to do so. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope this is enjoyable for you all, and I am definitely excited to share. So hold on, let me put some of this down. So I want to pick this up and show you guys my yarn. So I did lay out the yarn choices that I have that I'm going to be using, and let me see what hand. See, that's the okay. From this from this side, what I'll be showing you down this way is the order I'm going to use my yarn. I guess I'll have to decide as I go. But starting off, I'm going to be using this lighter color, and I might try to stripe that in like every other row. And then as those colors run out, then I'll be using those colors. So I thought that order was kind of nice, and we'll see how it works up. Okay. So now that I had shown you my yarn and the tools that I'll be using today, I did also want to show you a little drawing. For me, a visual is really helpful when I am trying to design something new or create something of my own. It really gives me an idea of the shape of what I'm trying to get to, and possibly measurements that I might need to know for that particular item. So I did draw a little drawing. Now it's not perfect because I'm not exactly a drawing artist. I'm a crochet and knit artist. But this is the yoke of the top. So the yoke of the top is pretty much, you know, from here up, and it does go all the way down. It's hard to me. It's to your armhole depth. So the armhole depth is, you know, the length of the slit in your armhole, your sleeve, you know, where your arm fits. It's almost fell. But so that is usually where the yoke ends, and then you split for the sleeves, and you begin the body of the top. So that's what I'm trying to say. So today, that is what we're going to be working on, is the yoke part, and because this is a top-down construction. So the very first thing we need to do is like the neck area. Now this is going to be a sweater, so you do have the opportunity to add in a turtleneck. If you like turtlenecks, you could start with that. A good measurement to go on is probably the circumference of the hat, like the hat sizes that you use. So I know hats are usually like maybe an inch or so, a negative ease, but if they say for like a 23-inch or a 21-inch, then those are the numbers you would use. It's the 23 or the 21. And then that will allow it to fit over your head, and then it's you know, a good fit for that kind of thing. If you wanted a turtleneck or something like that, you could start with that, and then you know, make it long enough to where you can fold it down, and then begin on the yoke. Or you could just do a little ribbing and maybe not a full out turtleneck, however you want. But for me, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do pretty much what it looks like, just an opening, just, you know, big enough. I'll probably do 20 inches, because I don't like it to be too wide around my neck. I do like the top to fit closer, so not like a boat neck or anything like that. So for me, I want my target opening to be around 20 inches. And how I'm going to start that is I am going to do foundation double crochets. I do have a tutorial for that. I'm not for sure if I publish it or not, but I'll have the link down below where you guys can check that out if you're not familiar with foundation double crochets. That is probably how I'm going to start. Now you could work out a gauge swatch with the yarn that you want to use and hook that you want to use to see how many stitches will give you that measurement that you're looking for to get started with. If you don't want to do a gauge swatch, you can always do the foundation double crochets until it's long enough to go around your neck. Now, if you choose to do that, I would recommend foundation double crochets rather than chaining and doing a chain around your neck, because the foundation double crochets does give a more accurate fit, because sometimes we can chain too tight or too loose, and by the time we work back into it, it's not as accurate as if you're doing those foundation stitches. So that is my recommendation, and I definitely will put that link down below. If you need to pause here and check that video out and come back, you're more than welcome to do so. But yes, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get started. And since I'm using, I believe these are mostly worsted weight yarn. Some of them look like they might be a thicker worsted weight, but I am going to use my 5mm hook because I feel comfortable with that, and I think that'll give me a good stitch definition with this hook and the yarns that I'm using. So that is the hook that I'll be using. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work enough foundation double crochets until I feel like it's long enough around my neck. Now I do want this to be an even number, and that I'm going to do an even number, and then I'm going to do +4, and that's because when I do my increases, I'm going to mark those stitches, and then I'll increase at those 4 stitches. So that is what I'm going to work on. And then once I have my foundation long enough, I'll let you know how many stitches I made, and then where to put the markers at. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll drop some music on for you guys, and you can go ahead and grab your whip or grab your yarn and get started along with me. All right, so here we go. All right, everyone. So I went ahead and I think you saw me fit it around my neck, and it felt like it was pretty good. So I went ahead and I measured it, and I think I'm at like a little over 20 inches, which is fine. And I got 68 stitches when I counted. So that is great also because it's an even number. And then I have, you know, since it's a little bigger, that'll give me the 4 stitches already, because it could be like I do 64 and then 4 more 68. All right, so what I am going to do now is I'm going to calculate. Let me see. Let me pull up my calculator on here and I'll calculate. You guys probably won't see that part, but let me pull up my calculator. All right, so I got 68 stitches. I'm going to subtract the 4 because those are going to be my increase points. So that gives me 64 stitches. Now I want the majority of them to be in the front and the back, but I also need so I need stitches to cover the front, stitches to cover the back, but I also need stitches to go across my arm as well. So that's what I'm trying to calculate right now. I don't have a math for it. I'm just gonna get the majority amount. So I'm gonna say, let me see, if I do 20, that's 40 stitches, and then that'll leave me with 24. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Let me see. Minus 40, 24, and then that give me 12 stitches. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so what I decided to do is I'm going to have 20 stitches in the front. I'm going to have 20 stitches in the back, and then I'm going to have 12 stitches for each arm. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now when I have the seam here, I'm going to want the seam to be on the side. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to want the seam to be on the side, not in the front middle or the back middle. I want it to go on the side. That way it's not as noticeable, you know, on the sweater. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the stitches that go on the side into half and half, and then that way I'll know where to put my stitch markers at. So once you have your number divided separately for the stitches you need in the front, the stitches you need in the back, and on the sides, and you could go ahead and, like, if you drew a picture like mine, you can write it down. Like I wrote 68 stitches at the top, so I know what it is. If you wanted to, you could just like write, like for me, I would write 20 stitches on the front since I have 20, and then I could write 12 on the side because I know that's where the sleeve is at. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab one of my stitch markers, and since 6 is half of 12, I'm going to count over 6 stitches. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on that 7th stitch, because remember I still have 4 stitches to mark for my increases. So on that 7th stitch is where I'm going to go ahead and put in. So on that 7th stitch is where I'm going to place my marker, and then that is where I'll have my increase part, and then I'm going to count over, so that'll be for the sleeve. Then I'm going to count over 20 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And on the 21st stitch, I'm going to put another stitch marker, and that is going to mark where I put my next increase. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and count over the 12 stitches for the sleeve. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then on that 13th stitch, I'm going to go ahead and put another marker for my other sleeve. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. Okay. Alright, and then I need another 20 stitches for my back. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on that 21st stitch, I'm going to put my other marker. I have another stitch marker over here somewhere. Okay, and then that gives me my 4 stitch markers. So that is how I'm looking so far for my stitch markers. So I have my seam here on the side, and then I have my front stitches marked, and then in between these two is where where those stitches are marked, that is where I'm going to put my increase at. So that is what my setup is looking like so far. Now I am going to join this because I am going to be I'm going to be doing turned rounds. I'm not going to be going in a continuous round. When you do continuous round, it depends on the size. When you do a larger size, you get a noticeable seam that can kind of curve around, and if you do a smaller size, it's not really noticeable. So it depends on what size you're doing. You could go in continuous rounds, but since our stitches tend to lean, they're not straight up and down like a knit stitch. As we crochet, our stitches tend to lean a little bit, so the more that you do, it becomes noticeable. So I am going to be doing turn round. So I'll slip stitch to join, and then I'll go back the opposite way that I came. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to slip stitch to join to the other side, right into that first stitch. Oops. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Alright. So now I am going to be working the linen stitch. Some people know it's a moss stitch. So I'm just going to do that stitch, and when I come to my marker for this particular stitch, I'm going to put 3 stitches in there. So depending on where I'm at um, in the pattern, because you know with moss or the linen stitch is chain 1, is single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. So I'll probably end up doing something like um, a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet all into the same stitch to get those 3 stitches, and that will give me my increase for that stitch. If you're doing like a double crochet or a half double crochet, you just put 3 of those stitches in there to increase. Whatever stitch you're using, you just want to make sure you put 3 stitches in that stitch, the mark stitch, to do your increases, and that way it'll grow along as it's supposed to. Now if you are a smaller size, I would probably suggest increasing every other round. If you're a larger size, I would suggest increasing every round. I'm going to be increasing every round. It doesn't really, it does matter, because uh, if you increase every other round and you're still not where you need to be at by the time you get to your armhole depth, then it's gonna, your the opening for your arm will be kind of lower, and it'll give you a different look. But if you get the increases wide enough where you need to go sooner than you finish your armhole depth, you can always just not increase. You know what I'm saying? So if you get there faster than what you think, you can just always stop increasing and continue on just working those stitches playing around. So I would suggest for larger sizes to go ahead and increase every round, and for smaller sizes to do it every other round. And once you get to where your armhole depth would be at to split for the sleeves, then as long as you have enough room to actually, I do it like I pinch it together to hold it under my arm and see if I have enough room to close it. If I do, then I'll just continue on without increasing. But if it's not enough, then I need to continue increasing. So that's how I usually figure out when to stop the increases at. So you could also grab a shirt that you like and how it fits, and measure your armhole depth and make sure you have the same inches. Usually it's like between 10 to 12 inches for our armhole depth. So that also helps you know when you need to stop increasing and you're ready to split for the sleeves. So I hope that helps. It makes sense. If not, you can ask me questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to help. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my first round of actually I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this. I'm going to be increasing in my stitch markers, and I'm going to make sure that I put my stitch marker in the center stitch of the increase, and that way I can keep increasing at that same point each round. And I may bring this color in to give it a little more of a punch, kick it up a bit, and that's pretty much all I'm going to be doing. So I am going to be doing the linen stitch, increasing where my stitch markers are, making sure I move them up and put the marker in the middle stitch, and increase every round for me because I'm a larger size, and make sure I turn and go back the other way. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Go ahead and work on yours, and I think that is all the information that I'm going to be giving in this video. So I will go ahead and keep working on it, and when my time is up for this session, I will come back and let you see my progress. Alright guys, here we go. Alright everyone, and I made it back. So this is the progress that I have so far. I really like how the colors are working up. I think it's gorgeous so far. The only thing is you can see where I put my increases at. I'm not for sure if it's the yarn is, the second color is a little bit thinner or if it's the increase. I think it might be the increase I'm doing because I'm doing a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the increase. So what I think I might do is just, I might switch it up and do just 3 single crochets in there and see if that starts to widen it up a little bit more better, because it's still quite small and I don't want it to build up like a turtleneck, if that makes sense. So I wanted to grow a little bit faster. So I think I might do, I'm going to try a couple rounds of single crochet, 3 single crochets in there, and see if I like that better. If I feel like it's still not growing enough, I might do 5 stitches in 1 stitch. So I'm not for sure. Or I might do every other round. I might do 5 and then I might go back to 3 increases like that. I'm just going to play around with it. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. Go ahead, work on yours if you are, and play around with the stitches. Don't be afraid to try out different things and see how they work for you a little bit better, and just have fun with it, right? If you got to pull out a row or two, it's okay. It's just yarn. You can just whip it right back in there. But I am really excited about this. I really like the colors and how they're playing out and with the stitch. And then I'm doing every other row. I am what is that? I am carrying my yarn up the side of the seam, so that way I don't have to constantly cut and rejoin every round. So that is definitely helpful as well. And I'm excited to keep working on this. I don't have anything else any other information to provide you guys with on this particular point for where I'm at in the sweater. Other than the increases that I was doing, I'm going to change it up to 3 single crochets instead of single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. And if I feel like that's not enough, I might increase to 5. But I do have a lot of things that I'm working on right now, so I'm most likely not going to pick this back up again until next Work Your Whips Monday. Of course, if I do, though, I'll fill you in on the details of what I did and any changes that I might have made next week when I come back and share with you guys. Alright, but that's pretty much all I have to share with you today. That's my progress. Alright, everyone, so please let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be working one of these up yourself. Let me know what you think of my progress that I have so far. Also, if you had any questions about the progress that I have so far. And I'm not going to be giving you guys any options this week because I am going to continue working on this for next week until I get further down, so where there's no more instruction. In case you guys are following along, I want to keep going on this. Alright, so let me know all of that. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.